Lenny McLean, a legendary figure in the British underworld, was known for his brutal strength, fearsome reputation, and an unwavering sense of honour. Often referred to as the Guv'nor, McLean's life was a testament to the brutal realities of the East End of London, where he was both feared and respected. Among the many stories that contributed to his fearsome reputation, one incident stands out: a mass brawl with an 18-man stag party that led to McLean facing a charge of grievous bodily harm. This event not only showcased his formidable fighting skills, but also highlighted the dangerous world in which he operated. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. Stay tuned as we look at how Lenny came to blows with an entire stag party, and how his GBH charge was resolved. Before diving into the infamous brawl, it's essential to understand the man behind the legend. Lenny McLean was born on April the 9th of 1949 in Hoxton, East London, into a life of hardship and violence. His childhood was marred by physical abuse from his stepfather, which instilled in him a deep-seated anger and a determination to never be a victim again. This tumultuous upbringing shaped McLean into a man who could handle himself in any situation, no matter how violent. By the time he was a teenager, McLean had already developed a reputation as a tough and fearless fighter. He quickly rose through the ranks of the East End's criminal underworld, becoming a feared enforcer and an accomplished bare-knuckle boxer. His prowess in the ring and on the streets earned him the nickname the Guv'nor, a title he played up to and carried with pride. McLean's life was a series of brutal encounters, both legal and illegal, but none were as notorious as the incident with the 18-man stag party. On the night in question, Lenny was working the door at the Barbican Club in London's Smithfield Market. The stag party had been drinking all night and were loud and unruly. Nothing out of the ordinary for Lenny though. He saw this type of group all the time. Things took a turn for the worse after a while, when they decided they didn't like the prices. So when the girl behind the bar asked them for £38, not bad for 18 drinks, they told her to fuck off. The group of lads continued to verbally abuse the barmaid, and pretty soon she was in tears. This was too much for Lenny to stomach, and he confronted the group. "Okay, you're all drunk. There's 18 of you, and you're very brave. You want to fight? We'll go outside." As the group were headed for the door, they started to arm themselves with whatever they could lay their hands on. Glasses, bottles, ashtrays, and slipped them into their pockets. On his way out, Lenny asked the owner, Dennis McCarthy, if he was going to help deal with the mob. Dennis, assuming that Lenny's mouth had written checks he didn't want to cash, apparently just replied, "I'll pay you for this," and locked the door behind Lenny and the stag party. Lenny wasn't one to wait for someone else to throw the first punch, so he got to work dealing with the stag party. He recalled in his autobiography, The Guv'nor, "I pulled a nice little cosh out of my pocket and went through the lot of them." Lenny was like a whirlwind, a force of nature, working his way through the crowd of men. "They went down like skittles as I slashed left and right like a maniac," he said. By the time the police arrived, Lenny claimed he had knocked 9 of them to the floor, and the cops arrested everyone they could see. 5 of the group reportedly needed to be taken to hospital for treatment. The remainder of the party, and Lenny, were locked up in Snow Hill Nick, where the stag party started sobering up. It was then that Lenny started throwing fuel on the fire by yelling at the men through the slit in his cell door. "You gutless bastards. You fucking mugs. You're all like little lambs now. Look at me. You're not seeing me with drink inside me. I'm like this all the time. A stone-cold sober, raving lunatic." A policeman told Lenny he would be prosecuted for GBH, as some of the men in the party had received broken jaws, while another had 5 ribs broken. Fortunately for Lenny though, that wasn't what transpired. He was told 3 weeks later the charges were going to be dropped, and the reasoning was almost comical. Lenny recalled, "They said they'd had a note from upstairs saying, 'We do not think it is prudent to use public funds in pursuit of a charge that one man assaulted 18 others. This was a wise move on behalf of the police. It would have looked a bit funny in the papers. The brawl with the 18-man Stag Party became one of many stories that contributed to the legend of Lenny McLean. It was a testament to his physical prowess, his ability to handle extreme situations, and his unyielding sense of justice. After all, he wasn't prepared to put up with a group of drunk men bullying a barmaid. And perhaps the main reason he took the men on was to test himself and build on his own legend. For those who knew him or had heard of him, the incident was just another example of why he was called the Guv'nor. McLean's life continued to be marked by violence and controversy, but he remained a figure of respect in the East End. He dabbled in acting, famously appearing in Guy Ritchie's film Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, where he played the character Barry the Baptist. The role brought him a new level of fame, and he became a cult figure, admired by many for his toughness and his survival in a world where only the strongest endured. However, Lenny McLean's life was also marked by tragedy. Years of violence took their toll on his body and mind. In 1998, at the age of 49, McLean was diagnosed with lung cancer. Despite his reputation as an indomitable force, McLean was unable to overcome the disease. He passed away on July 28th of 1998, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and fascinate people to this day. Lenny McLean's encounter with the 18-man Stag Party was more than just a brawl. It was a defining moment that encapsulated his life and character. It was a story of a man who, despite his violent past, operated by a code of ethics that valued fairness, justice, and self-reliance. He was lucky that the incident didn't lead to an actual GBH charge, but he couldn't stand by and let yobs be yobs. His was a life where violence and honour were inextricably linked. The legend of Lenny McLean, the Guv'nor, lives on, not just in the tales of his fights and his victories, but in the respect he commanded in a world where respect had to be earned the hard way. His story remains a powerful reminder of the brutal realities of life in the East End of London, and of the man who, despite all odds, became its undisputed king. Thank you for joining us today on Crime Chronicles. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel with your friends.